As I mentioned in the last video, the SC01 website has a fairly substantial French-speaking population that likes to come visit the museum. And so they've requested that some of the website be offered in French as well as English. So we're going to get started on building that part of the website for them. The very first step in building Joomla in multiple languages is to install what's called a language pack. And a language pack is a full translation of Joomla's backend and any of the core components that might display on the front end. It's all been translated into your language of choice. So, of course, here in the back end, the translation would cover all of the control panel icons you see here and the menus and so forth. On the front end, if you think about things that display from Joomla, think about the contact form and the labels on a contact form, for example. That's text that comes right out of Joomla, and that would be automatically displayed by the French language pack. However, your articles, for example, are not translated by Joomla automatically. You need to go through and translate those, preferably with a human who knows how to translate things into the language of choice. You could always install a translation tool like Google Translate, but if you've ever used Google Translate as an English speaker and you've tried translating a piece of content from some other language, you know that Google Translate isn't perfect and the translations can sound a little choppy. You can safely assume that that's true for people reading your website from English to another language as well. So the best translations are always done by humans. Google Translate is a pretty poor substitute, but it's as good as we've got at the moment. In any case, however you translate your articles, the first part of this process is to install this language pack that will translate various parts of Joomla. So we have to download that language pack. And so I'm going to go to joomla.org and I'm going to go to the extend menu option here. And I'm going to go to the translations item. And this is going to tell me where I can go to download translations for all kinds of languages. Note that there are a different set of translations for Joomla 1.5 than there are for 1.6, 1.7, and 2.5. So we're going to go to the 2.5 translation packs. And this is going to tell us that we need to go to Joomla code. And if you take a look here, there are so many language packs here for Joomla, and this is just the first page. There's 2 pages of them. I'm actually going to change my sort here to sort in the other order on this page. That way I can scroll on down and find the French language pack, which will be under F for French. So this is the one that we want. And if you take a look over here, we have 2 versions of it. There's a version 1 and a version 2. I'm going to assume version 2 is more complete and up to date. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link and save that on down to my computer, which is now here in my downloads folder. So once you've downloaded your language pack, you can hop into the back end of Joomla and install it. Just like any other extension in Joomla, you're going to install your language pack by going to Extensions, Extension Manager, and here in the spot called Upload a Package File is where you're going to upload your language pack. You can install templates here, components, modules, plugins, and languages all through the same interface. So I'm going to browse for my language pack, which is in my downloads folder. And there it is, FR Joomlang Full. And I'm going to upload and install it. And it will tell me that this is the full French language pack, and it does include some translations for TinyMCE as well. So now if I take a look at Extensions Language Manager, this will show me all of the languages that I have installed on my website. So this first tab is telling me what languages are installed that work on the front end of my website, so the public-facing side. And right now I have 2. I have English and I have French. If I look at the Administrator tab here, which is, of course, the back end of Joomla that we're looking at now, I also have available to me English and French. English is the default, but we could create some new users and assign them the French interface if they are more comfortable working in French. The third tab here has to do with content. And for the moment, all of our content is currently in English. The next step is to add an item here for creating French content, which I will do in the next video.